Hello and welcome back, my lovely people. Welcome to my little channel. What are we talking about today? We are talking about a very controversial subject. Well, maybe it's not that controversial anymore, but we're talking about the endless fight between whole sign and Placidus house system. Which one is better? Which one should you use? What do I use? Why do I use it? And what do I think works best? And again, this is a video that explains my journey, my experience with the house systems, and it might be completely different to your opinion, the way you use the house systems, right? But if you're interested and if you want to know where my journey began, where I am now, and how I use both, because I do use both, stay tuned. So let's begin. Let's begin at the beginning. My journey with astrology started very early in life. It started before I knew how to use a computer because I'm from a different era. Well, yeah, I was born in 81, so I've been around for a while. And when I started with astrology, started being interested in astrology, I didn't have a computer. I didn't have anything to calculate anything. So I learned with books, and the books I read, they were all based on Placidus. So every chart that was displayed in the book was all calculated in the Placidus system. So for me, I have my sun in Pisces and I'm a Virgo rising. So for me, my sun in Placidus was always in the sixth house. So I thought I have a sixth house sun. And I've been working with this system for about 15 years, maybe even a little longer, until I discovered the whole sign system. And let me tell you guys, it all came at the right time. When I studied astrology and understood astrology from the perspective of Placidus, the Placidus house system, I had three planets in the sixth house. And it made so much sense to me. So much sense. I don't know, did my video just stop? Oh, I hope not. So it made so much sense to me because the way my life was at that time, I had a sixth house life, literally. It was all about health or trying to get healthier. And it was all about service. So for me, it made so much sense to have Mars, Venus, and the sun in the sixth house. And then one day I discovered the whole sign house system. I started playing around with it and everything changed in my chart. Literally every planet moved houses. And at first I was like, what? That's not, like, what? I have the sun, Mars, and Venus in the seventh house? That is not possible. Relationships were not part of my life. I was not a relationship person. I didn't want a relationship. I didn't really see myself in a relationship. My whole 20s, I was dating here and there, but there was nothing long-term. Even with friendships, I was a hermit. I was a hermit. Like literally, I was a hermit. I loved life on my own. I just wanted to be on my own. I just couldn't see what anyone else really could possibly bring to my life long term. I just wanted to see the world. I wanted to travel around. I wanted to just live life. And I also, like I said, was very concerned with fifth house themes. And then I discover whole sign houses, the whole sign house system, and I was fighting it for a year. I was like, no, I can't see it. I just cannot see it. How is this possible? How is the moon that I always thought was in the fourth house now in the fifth house? No. And how are all my Mars and Venus and the sun in the seventh house, like there's no focus. And then everything shifted. everything shifted. All of a sudden, I could see what I've never seen. I could see why I had these planets in the seventh house. I could see it. I could see how I avoided relationships, how I had to understand myself in the sixth house before I could understand myself in the seventh house. Do you know what I mean? I could not understand my sun in the seventh house before I fully understood my sun in the sixth house. And that's basically what I'm trying to say with this video. Both whole sign and Placidus, they both are valid and they are both important and they are both useful and they are both part of your journey. So what I like to do is now at this point, I layer them. When I look at charts. I look, okay, so especially when someone has a late rising degree, 27-degree rising, then usually, most planets are moving house when you use both different house systems. So I layer them and to get to understand the full story. And like I said, for me, it was like I needed to understand this part of me first before I could move on to this part. And now I'm very much in the seventh house. I'm like, my life is all about the seventh house. Since when did it? About 31, like around just after my Saturn return. Whoop, we moved to the seventh house, and now I can fully get to know and understand these planets in the seventh house. So there's no right or wrong system. Every system meets you at the right time, or you meet it. You discover it, it discovers you. Everything comes to you when you're ready for it. And what's the saying? The teacher appears when the student is ready. Well, that was very clear to me and very relevant and very, to the point. So again, I would not, discard anything, like any house system. If it comes to you, look at it, because there is a lesson in there. And then you can either play around with both, or you will find one that works for you. You just have to trust your instincts in there too, because astrology works, it's all about energy, right? It's the language of energy. And when we work and speak the language of energy, we got to trust our intuition and instinctual understanding and knowing. We are drawn to something for a reason. So yeah, look at your astrology chart in both. Try Placidus, try the whole sound system, and see how they both feel. Try them on, like a new pair of jeans, and see how they fit. And if one doesn't really fit well, leave it for a while, but look at it again, because there's surely something in there to learn for you. So that's what I want to leave you with today, and I will talk to you very soon.